this little thing above my desk to put some paperwork on this little shelf, but this bar was in the way, so we'll just get rid of that. Hi, welcome back. And it's the typical 3:30 in the morning video. I don't know. I'm so new at this. I don't know if my little caption of what I was going to talk about came up or not. But what I was kind of thinking about as I was doing some work tonight, I was thinking about the pre-incarceration process that this program I'm starting could help with. And that is to preface the individual before they go into incarceration with a set of tools that they can use to really get their mind going in a different direction than what the institution setup is normally like. If you're in a county jail, now I know prisons, they have some really good programs. Some people get full educations in prison, but in a county jail, not all of them, but quite a few, they're walking in circles and watching TV, doing a couple sit-ups, little outside time, which is not in a very big space. Judge Judy. You watch Judge Judy, Yellowstone. That's a good one. And sharing ideas. And they're usually, I like to call them war stories because they're staying in the problem. Sharing tips and ideas of crime or whatever it is that they share in there. And I'd like to be on a fly on the wall for like a minute. But there is an alternative, and that alternative is resetting that mind to think different thoughts, the thought patterns. Get that cognitive thinking back on track in a direction that's going to better their lives. Even if they are in county jail waiting to go off to prison and do more time, that journey of discovery of a new thought pattern can be priceless in their family, re-entering the community, employment. So there's all kinds of tools that we can use. One of them, there's a packet that I have that I'm going to use when I work with people. Connecting with those women and finding out what it is that they want to do. There's goals that we can write down, and it starts triggering your brain to think about that. What would that look like? Wow, wouldn't that be cool if I could be a mentor or a counselor or a whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be some great awesome doctrine they're going for, but just to be able to get out into mainstream America, what does that look like, into a small community or a big community, a city, and those goals are going to be different based on the demographics of where they live, if they're urban or if they're out in the country. I myself, I've never milked a cow, but those might be the options of where I live. So I don't know. That's what I would be thinking about if I went to jail and didn't want to go back and wanted to better my life. But they're not even given the opportunity to do so. And that is sad. And there are law enforcement people that run these jails, and they live in the same community that we live in. So I would think I would want to better these people's lives. They're going to stay in our community. Their children are going to go to school with our children, and we're going to see them when we're picking up our children. And wouldn't we want them to be in our community and making a difference, a positive difference? So really what happens is the community suffers, children suffer, the resources suffer because they don't get access to these people that need the help so badly. We have mental health professionals, people that work with children, um, you know, I mean, just all across the board. Uh, it would help everybody as a whole. So one of the packets is the family, and I think that's so important because families are destroyed by incarceration. And it may just be a simple mistake that somebody made and they're going to go back home. But what is the behavior going to look like after they've been walking in circles and fighting over a remote? Are we going to watch Judge Judy, or are we going to watch Yellowstone? Um, so family can offer moral and financial support to assist you in achieving your goals. List family members and their importance on a scale to 1 to 10. And indicate if you will live with them, whether you need to improve your relationship with them, and how you would plan to do that. So now you've got this question. You may not even have family. That could make you very upset in jail, but it's also going to trigger a thought. Why don't I have a family? What was my part? So it's got these really neat questions in here. What are your responsibilities towards your family members, and how will you show them you've changed and deserve their love and respect? When you're working on this stuff, you don't care if Judge Judy's on. Friends, solid friendships with people that respect and support your efforts to change your life for the better are important. You will need to apply several core skills you have learned to identify and find positive influences in your life. So now you're thinking about who you're going to hang with, because you know what? The guy on whatever street, you don't want to be hanging with him, because then you're going to be back in. So these are really cool tools. So the family, then we've got, budget and finance. We might leave that one out because, well, you may need it for tasty cakes. I don't know. But those are things you got to think about: rent, utilities, phone, food, medicine, insurance, fines, restitution. Again, getting your mind thinking about how we're going to do this. Typically, people think, I'm going to need a job. So we have things, the goal setting sheet. Where do they want to work? What does employment look like? So this is the kind of stuff that I would like to get with, some attorneys on, and just introduce this program to some of the people that work in the court and the justice system, to let them know that there is some planning that you can do to better your life prior to getting out. If you are not able to, if a person's not able to get this information prior to going in, I would really like to figure out a way to get this kind of stuff to the inmates, using a mentor that would specifically work with the inmates. So we would have a male mentor and a woman mentor that would work with these people and go and visit them and say, so, last week we met, and what are your goals? What'd you come up with? They may say nothing. because they had the TV so loud, I couldn't concentrate. And that is very normal because going into a setting like that and trying to figure out how to focus, I know I would just like go bang my head against the wall because I can't even stand in line at Walmart without getting distracted with the person at the next checkout. And wow. So in a jail setting, it could take some time. But at least you have that support and somebody patient enough to sit and say, "Okay, let's put that on your goal sheet to try to focus a little bit more." We may have to take it all the way back to that, and that's just kind of the coaching that some people would need, and I know, I could use it without being in jail. Um There's also another packet that I think is really cool. It talks about recreation and leisure. Recreation, healthy rest, personal needs are important for your recovery and success. Um, to spend some free time because I don't care who you are. A walk around the block, going up to the mountains, taking a hike, going to the park, taking a swim at the YMCA or whatever it is. However, me, I like to sit in the quiet, read, um, clean. I like to clean my house. I get a lot of thinking done. A lot of people wouldn't think that's leisure, but for me, it is. Uh, I've got packets on success after incarceration, job interviewing tips. Because that's a reality. The job thing we have to have. Um, but how do we go in and say, "Hi, I'm a felon. I committed a crime, and this is what it is." This gives you some tips. And then this is kind of a really cool sheet. I'll show you. It says, "I can, I will," talks about your family, your health, personal, educational, career, and relationship. And this is one of the sheets I'm going to use when the clients come in, when we start our process of the paperwork, which is their packets. That we'll start with this, and then I'm going to take this away and put it in their file. And then when they're getting ready to leave our program and become a mentor themselves, if they should decide to do that, we can look at this and say, "Holy cow, my family, I got them all together and wrangled up," or, we separated and parted ways and that was for the best, but we're co-parenting. Health, I got insurance, I'm seeing the doctor, I'm fixing my teeth and working on my back. Personal, education, wow, I went to college or I took a course, or career, relationship. And I think for me, if I were to fill one of these up, this one here, that would be my answer. I would form a relationship with myself because I think that's where it starts. For me, it starts with myself. And you know what? Sometimes I just don't like me. And that's really a bad attitude to have. But I think that's our ego just kind of screaming for attention, saying, "Hey, look at me. I'm important. See me." But wait, that's like really codependent too sometimes. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to beg for that attention to have other people tell us we're worthy and good. But I really would like to have that relationship with myself because I can't really be of any importance or help in anybody's life and be in any type of relationship, romantic or, friends, children, coworkers, employers, unless I have a relationship with me. So Sometimes I got to gather those 8 personalities and figure out who I like the best that day. But that is kind of prefacing what I would like to do for the pre and the post. It's all very similar, and there's a lot more packets. They are evidence-based, which is very cool. Evidence-based means they work. So if I can find it, the evidence-based mental practice books, it's a textbook, it works. It's been studied in treatment centers and facilities, and therapists and psychologists use that book all over the country. But people aren't going to grab a therapist that says, well, I don't know if it works or not, but I don't know. People say it works. No, I want some evidence that it works, because I don't need any footloose, fancy-free yo-yo therapist telling me something that may or may not work. I just want to know that it will work. And I know that these type of things do work. And what's really cool about the mentorship program is that if you don't know how, they do. So it is a we type of thing. You don't know how to build a resume? We'll do it together. If we don't know, we'll Google it, or we'll ask somebody else that knows. And, they say if you want to go learn how to play soccer, go to a soccer pro. You're not going to go to a golf pro. If you want to learn to play, chess, you're not going to go to a boxer. He probably doesn't know how to play chess. So really, we want to get some smart, measurable, achievable, realistic goals going on. But how do you do that in a local jail where it's not provided? So, you can get a tablet and you can take like little courses that you get no credits for or anything. My husband did one on neurology. I thought he was going to come home with a degree and be a neurologist. And no, that didn't happen. But he got to listen to some music. And that was like $4 a song or something. So I think we could spend our time a little bit more wisely. And I'm kind of confused about why it's allowed. People just sitting around. I don't know that that's really effective. Maybe for some it is, but I would say that looking at a mental health aspect, it's super unhealthy. So I don't know. I'm going to start researching that and maybe talking to some people and getting some ideas about what they think. Just because I think it doesn't mean it's a great idea, but I think it's really important, that maybe we can say to some of these local jails, let's get some new guys in here that need to learn a lesson. But if we don't get to the core about what got us there and start working on the mental health, the cognitive thinking, the depression, the anxiety, there is a list of mental health issues out there. Some I haven't even heard of, and I probably have them or something. I don't know. I just saw this list the other day and I just about freaked out, because you hear about bipolar, you hear about manic depression and OCD, ADHD, all that stuff, but there are so many more. And a lot of people don't even know what they're suffering from. They're begging to find out what's wrong with them. So with this type of information being filled out, when they get out and get to see a therapist, they can say, this is what I did in jail, and this is what I filled out, and it gives the professional in the community a little bit more to work off because it's raw. You're not sitting there in their office telling them something you think they wanna hear, and a lot of times it's what we do. So I think it would be, time well spent, and, I'm gonna do some research on that and see, what what's the point with that? I mean, you can, like, just sleep and watch TV. Sometimes it sounds like a good idea, but I know my mental health would suffer, so, the whole point is to be able to get the inmates back out into the community, focusing on recovery, focusing on mental health, employment, family, and community. And I don't know how we do that in a healthy manner when Judge Judy or Yellowstone or I don't know. Doesn't sound good. So I am interested to hear your comments. Feel free to email me or you can chat. I've got this whole bar over here. I'm so new at this. I don't know what's going on. Where people can comment or, um, and I'll try to reply. Pretty slow at this whole computer thing, but um, the other thing I want to say is I got a message from somebody that had commented on my first video, which I was really excited about. It was kind of impromptu. And I want to thank everybody for giving me their comments. That's what this is all about. And the comments are great. I mean, some are negative, some are positive, whatever. And you're more than welcome to just shut it off and delete me. That's fine too. But I think with the comment I got, it was cool because it gave me food for thought. And it also allowed me to remember that we all have thoughts, ideas, opinions, and um, the coolest thing about people giving a comment is we all think differently, and I'm open to that. We all have different spiritual walks of life and spiritual ideas and religion and lack of religion, whatever it is. There's all kinds of ideas out there. We've got Christian, Buddhist, Judaism, Islamic, I don't know, all of it. Bring it, because you know what? I'm willing and I try to remain teachable so that way I can learn. Because one thing I did find out in my walk is when you think you know it all, you find out in tough situations that you don't. And it's really important to remain teachable. So I appreciate your comments. And you can be mad at me, but I get to say whatever I want. You know why? Because it's freedom of speech. And I hope it helps you because your comments will help me better do what I was set out to do, I believe. So thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember to hug each other and support each other. We don't have to agree, and we don't have to co-sign each other's BS either. That honesty sometimes can save somebody's life. So I appreciate you guys, and I will be back. Thanks.